Mr. Peter Van, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. G.C. Mdlong, Goldwyn Chairperson, Mr. Wu Nang, Director General, Mpumalanga Province, Ms. M.M. Skosana, senior government officials from national, province, and local level, business leaders, community representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is an honor to stand before you today as I warmly welcome you all to our beautiful province of Mpumalanga, a province that works for all, for the official launch of the uUmmbila Emoyeni Wind Energy facility, the first project of its kind in our province, and the official opening of the Seriti Green office here in such as Nokutula on my own as the premier of that had already been accomplished. Not only the impressive development of the uUmmbila Emoyeni Wind Energy project, but also the immense potential it holds to revive this area economically and socially. Most importantly, I saw hope in the eyes of the people of this community, hope for jobs, hope for development, and hope for a better future. Our people are saying we are selling hope for a better tomorrow. They are demanding to live better life now. This project aims to meet that demand. Today, Honorable President, we are deeply honored by your presence as you officially open and bless this landmark project. As a province that works for all, Mpumalanga represents opportunity, resilience, and hard work. Ours is a province of determined people who understand that success comes through commitment, discipline, and perseverance. We have a saying that it doesn't dawn twice when the sun rises. Our people here in Mpumalanga rise with it. Every new day is embraced as an opportunity to work, to innovate, to build, and to create a better future for themselves, their families, and generation to come. It is this spirit that has made today's achievement possible. Our communities see this project as a symbol of a brighter future. We are delighted by the vision of Seriti Green, who initiated that vital area. Best wind, even better than coastal wind. Hence, the successful project that we are here to witness today. The people of our province understand that this project is about far more than wind turbines and infrastructure. It is about creating jobs, developing skills, attracting investment, restoring dignity to families, and opening opportunities for the next generation. It represents hope for young people seeking employment, empowerment for local businesses, and a catalyst for inclusive and sustainable economic growth. For this reason, today represents an important milestone in addressing one of South Africa's most pressing challenges of unemployment. We have long held the view that government alone cannot create all the jobs required by our growing population. Sustainable economic growth requires a strong partnership between government, It requires the private sector to invest, innovate, and expand. Owned by Seriti Green and partners. In this regard, we attach great importance to the active participation of industries and business in the Mpumalanga Development Council. Their involvement ensures that skill planning is informed by the real needs and by assumptions. Transition must not simply be about replacing one source of power with another. Rather, it must be about ensuring that different energy sources coexist and complement one another as we build a secure, reliable, and sustainable energy future. It must also be about creating a new generation of skilled workers, technicians, engineers, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Projects such as the uUmmbila Emoyeni Wind Energy facility, together with other energy generation initiatives in our province, will ensure that Mpumalanga remains South Africa's leading energy. Currently, we are leading and will continue position as the country's energy hub and identify investment in both traditional and renewable energy sources. I hear that there are other provinces aspiring as in energy generation, but they must know it's not prepared to surrender its crown. Will continue to invest and lead the way in powering South Africa's economy. It is my sincere wish that a company like Seriti continues to grow and prosper, because its success constantly translated into meaningful benefits for the people of Mpumalanga. Among its many contributions, the company has donated 16 vehicles to several police stations across the province, provided an ambulance to the Department of Health, refurbished child care center, and supported numerous other community development initiatives. I know that currently Seriti is building also a police station. Currently, we engage with Seriti. They are also donating two for our police station. Ingayikhohlwa kanjani Seriti? As the people of Mpumalanga, we are eternally grateful. When you see us meeting with Seriti and other business partners in the province, you must know that we are hard at work. Once again, I warmly welcome you all. The province, may you stay here, be memorable, and may today's historic occasion inspire even greater partnership. President, you are welcome. We are with you today here. I know that on Sunday, I will be with you. On Tuesday again, we'll be with you here in Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. You are all welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Premier. Thank you, Premier. Ladies and gentlemen, every successful project is built on strong partnerships. And this facility reflects shared ambition, technical expertise, and a commitment also cross oceans. Goldwind has helped carry this project from concept to commercial experience and industry-leading technology to the high south. It is my pleasure.
Electricity and Energy Dr. Umakopa, Mr. Nodlu, Premier of Mpumalanga Province, Executive Mayor District, Amga Zulu. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to be here today. On behalf of Goldwind, I would like to express my great thanks to Surety for inviting us to this event. Today, uUmmbila Phase 1 officially begins commercial operation. But it is more than a wind farm. It's about delivering renewable energy for South Africa. It is about turning investment into real. It is about creating jobs, developing skills, supporting community, and building confidence. We are proud that Goldwind is a part of this journey. I would like to express our sincere thanks to the government of South Africa. Under the leadership of President Ramaphosa, South Africa has continued to advance its energy transition with determination and vision. This project reflects the country's strong commitment to energy security, sustainable economic growth, and a cleaner future. I would like also thank Mr. Wu Pen. The Chinese embassy has continuously encouraged stronger cooperation to create a solid foundation for business partnerships and long-term developments. My sincere thanks also go to our partner and friend, Seriti Green. From the very beginning, this project has been built on trust, openness, and teamwork. Founded in 1998, Goldwind has become a global leader as an integrated power solutions supplier. With more than 169 gigawatts of installed wind power capacity worldwide, we could provide wind, solar, and storage with integrated solution, which could also extend to green applications such as methanol and hydrogen. For Goldwind Africa, we began our journey in South Africa since 2010. In the past 16 years, we have remained committed to one simple promise: in Africa, for Africa. Until now, Goldwind will deliver more than 2.2 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity across South Africa. Every year, this project will generate 5.8 million megawatt hour of clean energy, helping avoid around 6.5 million tons of carbon emissions. Together with our partner, we have also helped create more than 2,000 local employment opportunities across project development, construction, operations, and the local supply chain. But it's never end here. With more projects, We will not only have more employees for the coming 25 to 30 years, but we also try to work with colleagues for trainings and skill transfer to local community. Looking ahead, with over 220 local employees, Goldwind Africa will be our regional center, not only for South Africa, but also for other African countries as technical and operation center. Here I would like to share an old Chinese saying, 志合者不以山海为远. It means when people share the same vision, no distance is too far. We will be here for a long time in Mpumalanga, across South Africa, and to Africa to build a better future together. That is spirit of a just energy transition. Finally, Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chow. Siyabonga kakhulu to you as well. We are honored to be joined by the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to South Africa. Investment follows trust, and trust follows relationships. Please welcome His Excellency, Ambassador Wu Peng.
Your Excellency, Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Honorable Premier of Mpumalanga, Honorable Minister of Electricity and Energy, CEOs of Serati and Goldwind, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my pleasure to come to Mpumalanga to witness the commencement of this wind energy facility. On behalf of the Chinese Embassy and Chinese government, I would like to extend my warm congratulations on the milestone achievement and express gratitude to all who consistently support China-South Africa cooperation. I was told in Zulu, the word uUmmbila Emoyeni means maize in the wind. Today, the energy project we celebrate is indeed energy in wind and hope in the wind. I noticed from last night, strong wind keep blowing. I think this is a very good and luck signal. In our culture, we say it's an auspicious sign, because that's a nature phenomenon. Actually means the heaven blessing this project, blessing South Africa, and of course, blessing Your Excellency President. All the best. As the largest wind energy facility currently under construction in South Africa, this project embodies the vision of a just energy transmission personally championed by His Excellency President Ramaphosa, translating the vision into tangible action. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank the South African side, of course, especially Serati Group, for trusting and choosing Chinese company as your partner. Goldwind is China's leading and the world's largest manufacturer of wind turbine generators. I'm confident that Goldwind will deliver high-quality project for the whole facility and strive to deliver for the project owner as well as end users. Ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, under the joint leadership of President Xi Jinping and President Ramaphosa, political mutual trust between our two countries has continued to strengthen, and practical cooperation across various fields have yielded fruitful results. Especially since May 1st this year, China has officially implemented zero tariff treatment for all African countries having diplomatic relations with China, opening a gateway of opportunity for African countries. Witness only 2 months, the policy, zero tariff policy, has already delivered encouraging results. I must report to Your Excellency President, in May, South Africa exported nearly 5,500 metric tons of apple to China, and increase of 181% year-on-year. In June, South Africa's agriculture export to China reached $83 million, up 120% year-on-year, just in 1 month. I think I was very encouraged by this figure. We believe that beyond agricultural products, more of South Africa's competitive products will enter the Chinese market in the future, injecting strong vitality into South Africa's long economic development. Just yesterday, a South Africa company told me that they are export robots to China. I was very, very happy about that. It has been proven in practice that Chinese enterprises are not merely visitors from afar, but partners deeply rooted in South Africa. More and more Chinese enterprises are working hard to contribute to South Africa development. We have the Cherry plant in Roslyn, Hyson in Cape Town, the Doha wind power project, as well as the very energy facilities that we celebrate today, just to name a few. To conclude, I would like to end with these powerful words from His Excellency President Ramaphosa, to work with all those who share the dream for a better life for all. May China and South Africa continue to move forward hand in hand. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, what happens in the next few minutes is the part I would ask you to watch most closely. Today is not a finish line. Phase 1 is delivering, and now in front of the President of the Republic, we put pen to paper on the next phases of uUmmbila Emoyeni. We have 3 signings. First, the power purchase agreement to be signed by Mr. Peter Venn and Mr. Evan Rice, and to be witnessed by Mr. Mike Tege. Second is the EPC contract to be signed by Mr. Peter Vin and Mr. Chao Zingang, Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Goldwind, witnessed by His Excellency Ambassador Peng. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. And third, the banking commitment. Signed by myself. Remember, I told you guys my side job is being CFO of Sweetie Green, so I'm also signing a doc today. Signed by myself and Ms. Rachel van Tonder, Head of Power and Renewables at Standard Bank, Corporate and Investment Banking, witnessed by Mr. Dagay, the Group CFO of CVT Resources. Thank you all. We have now borrowed more money to build more projects. You know, many years ago, Peter Ben went to an investment summit. I don't know if you remember, Mr. President, it was in 2023, and he was saying to me, as CFO, he was saying, hey, I'm going to tell them I'm going to invest 25 billion. I said, no. You can't say you're going to invest 25 billion. Start small, under promise and over deliver. So I told Pete to say you were going to deliver 5 billion in projects. To date, we've invested about 15 billion in projects in Mpumalanga, and today we pledge to deliver 10 more billion. So 5x your return on that 2023 project. Because nothing and none of this happens without capital that was willing to back the transition before it was fashionable. To our lenders and funding partners and our shareholders in this room, thank you for underwriting the future. Ladies and gentlemen, those signatures are worth more than the ink. They are megawatts, they are construction jobs, and they're a commitment that this region's next chapter is already funded and already underway. Congratulations to all parties involved. The successful delivery of uUmmbila Emoyeni reflects a bold vision, significant investment, and a commitment to shaping South Africa's energy future. At the center of that vision has been the leadership of CVT Resources and its commitment to building a diversified energy business that delivers value to the country and to local communities, from the coal face to the wind face. Please welcome Mr. Mike Tege, Group Chief Executive Officer of CVT Resources.
Your Excellency President Matamela Solo Ramaphosa, in the offices of CRT, we were still asking ourselves questions whether you'll make it today. Maybe there'll be a postponement. It's the 31st of July, it's happening. Thank you. Honorable Minister of Electricity and Energy, Dr. Hossein Solam-Kopa, you won't get lost with CRT, we'll find you. Honorable Premier Mandlandlo, I'm sure you've seen that, and you'll see it later again. The different government officials, mayors, MECs, several CEOs who are here, ladies and gentlemen, the Ambassador of China, thank you and welcome to South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here, I just want to share something briefly with you and say, if you hosted a fireside chat with young people, young generation, in the ages of 12 to 15 maybe, and it happened right here on the spot, and you had to say to them, there is a coal to liquids plant called Saso around this area, not far. And there were 3 coal-fired power stations you would see. It's one, it's called Tutuka, 2, Matla and Creole. And then there are wind turbines. And you had to explain to these young kids why today you want to close the other 3, which is Tutuka, Creole and Matla. Why are you closing the coal-fired power stations? And you'll have to explain, and that requires leadership, bold leadership, because you need to understand the story that's happening in front of us called just energy transition. Today marks the opening of the project, a project which is proof that South Africa can build the future of energy. At the same time, whilst honoring the communities, industries and workers who carried us to this point. All of you, as stakeholders, you remain special to us. I remember vividly when we visited the site where we were going to put wind turbines. People doubt, not because they don't believe you. People doubt because they've never seen it before, maybe. And now you are seeing it, it's happening. Our CFO, Group CFO, Doug Gain, likes to say, Sekunjalo. It's when we build things happen in Seriti. President, my conversation and today's discussion, I want to talk about humanity and progress and say nothing in this world. I spoke about it early this morning. Nothing is going to stop humanity to progress. Humanity must progress. I was raised in the township of Watema in Springs. And when I was growing up, it was candles on the table. It was a coal stove. And if you were lucky and you came from one of the better families in the townships at that time, you had a paraffin lamp. You made it a bit. But later electricity arrived, solely coming from coal. And I'm saying to everyone who's seated here with all of us, ladies and gentlemen, don't spend your energy, no pun intended, on debating whether it's coal versus renewables. That conversation is off the table. It's coal and renewables. And we're going to have a versatile energy mix as a country. A very versatile energy mix where we'll have coal, where we'll have wind, where we'll have solar, and beyond that we'll have nuclear and other sources of energy. And that will make us versatile as a country, and that will propel economic growth, and then we'll see human progress advancing. Now, if you look at who made this possible, I gave a brief history and I spoke to you that on the 1st of March 2018, ladies and gentlemen, Seriti is 8 years old. 8. 1st of March 2018, we took over the assets of Anglo-American, which was Creole, New Denmark, New Val, and a project called New Lago. And on the 1st of June 2021, we took over the assets of South 32. And I remember at the time the conversation was, how do we integrate these assets? It was not easy. We are integrated now, we are one company, Seriti. But then come 2022, when we had a conversation with Peter talking about Wind Lab, the acquisition of Wind Lab. The story that goes around is the story that says, Mike, you're greenwashing. You're trying to clean up your story of coal. Well, I don't waste energy in such debates, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I stand here representing an energy business. And this energy business is going to play a central role in ensuring that the energy mix that I've spoken about becomes a possibility for our country. Now, there are people who make this dream possible. And these people include people like you, Peter. You know, when we came here on the 28th of March 2023, there was a question from one of the government officials, in a nice way, in a decent way. In Zulu, uUmmbila bantu bafunani la. Because nobody understood the whole story of wind in Mpumalanga. Somebody asked that question in a nice way, in a sincere way. These are the people who are here today. Peter Ram leading a very versatile, strong team of Seriti Green people who build these projects. One of those projects, Minister Ramokhopa, is the main transmission substation built under budget, on time, world class, and Mr. Denmark said to me, I'm going to take this message to quite a number of our projects to show the people how it's done and how it can be done and how it must be done. Thank you, Peter. I'd like to talk to you about our partners who are very important to us, Standard Bank and RMB, who are shareholders in the business. And I said it this morning, you borrow money from the bank wants you out, they give you an umbrella, that's the money they give you. But remember, the day that it rains, they want the umbrella back. When I say it rains, you know what I mean. With us, these are our partners. And thank you, Standard Bank, thank you, RMB, for partnering with us and believing in us. Thank you. Honorable President, we love South Africa. I try to speak all South African languages. I try to speak with this gentleman in Tswana. I speak quite a number of languages. And I spoke to a gentleman yesterday in my office and I said, Venda-speaking people would say, Riafuna Shango Lashu, Riafuna Africa Chipembe. We love our country, we love South Africa. And Seriti is not a story that's going to end today. When this country grows, when we experience economic growth, when we experience human progress, you are going to see our prominence. In a humble way, you're going to see us building more. And what do I mean by that? 68 kilometers down to Carolina, we are building a mine, a coal mine called Nodiers Bank. That answers your question, ladies and gentlemen. That says, are these people walking away from coal? No, we're not. We are building more. Nodiers Bank is going to produce coal for the coming 20 years. If you go to the heartland of the Polar Ochis area, there's a massive project there happening. We continue to invest in coal. The monies we generate, we invest in coal, but more money develops the confidence for us to invest in what you see today, ladies and gentlemen. I am proud to stand here, President, officials, and everybody who's here, that I get to find myself in a situation where people say, it's about Mike there. Mike is a CEO and they label you, they pigeonhole you. Truth of the matter, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, my success is pinned on the back of powerful people. The people, the original people of Seriti resources, the miners, I call them the Asters, the people who go underground to dig, the people who are on open cast to produce the coal that we see on the trains, or some of them on the bellowing power stations of this country. The special people who are dressed in green today, Seriti Green people. Ladies and gentlemen, it becomes hard as a leader. When somebody comes to you and says, we're going to build wind turbines, and you've seen them in a movie, you've seen them overseas, you've seen them on television, and you saw them at the coastal lines as you were driving, but you've never experienced it, you've never done it yourself. It takes boldness of character, it takes leadership, it takes foresight, it takes vision. But not my only vision. I am there, I happen to be in the front. I call myself the imposter. But reality of the matter, the people who make these things happen are the Seriti people. And I let us leave this place today with one commitment: to build, to partner, and to prove that progress can be just, inclusive, and can be delivered by us as South Africans. I hear people saying this jet thing will be delivered only if we borrow money from overseas countries who will come and dictate to us how we do it. They will develop an agenda for us. I don't have that low self-esteem to allow something like that. I have the confidence, Mr. President, everybody who's here, that if we work with ESCOM, If we work with the government, if we work with communities, if we work with everyone, guess what is next? I said it earlier, Mr. President, there's a mine called Middleburg Mine Services. It has a rehabilitated land. We have an ambitious plan to build a solar project there. We have an ambitious plan to link it with our water treatment plants. We have an ambitious plan that it will be next to Duva. And I'm glad it's in partnership with Eskom Green. We're well with them. We see Eskom Green as a competitor, but we see Eskom as a collaborator, working with us to advance the future of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing will stand in the way of progress. As I told you about that young kid you'll be sitting with at a fire chat, that little kid wants to know as to whether is my future secure. When humanity progress, energy will be at the center, and Seriti will be the first name you will all think about. Thank you.
Projects such as uUmmbila Emoyeni are central to strengthening energy security, diversifying our energy mix, and supporting sustainable economic growth. Energy security is the single biggest lever on this economy, and our next speaker carries that responsibility on his shoulders every day. The Honorable Minister has been at the forefront of advancing the energy transition and creating an environment in which investment of this scale becomes possible. Please join me in welcoming the Minister of Electricity and Energy, Dr. Hosiento Ramhoba.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me take the opportunity to extend my warm and sincere greetings to the Honorable President, President Ramaphosa, the Premier of Mpumalanga, Premier Mandandovu, the Mayor of the District, Councillor Mgomezulu, Mr. Mike Teke, the CEO of Seriti. Also, a warm and sincere greetings to His Excellency, the Ambassador of China to South Africa, a good friend, the Ambassador Wu, the MECs that are here, the mayors that are here, and let me greet you all in your eminence. So the President always counsels us that you must prepare for the moment. I had great difficulty this morning when I left home. So my wife says, but you are going to join the President in a ceremony. I said yes, and she asked me, but you should be wearing a bit more dark colors so that you are able to respect the moment and the authority of the office that you'll be accompanying. So I said, no, the President always says respect the moment. So we are here at Seriti Green, and I had to wear green. Some other occasion, I hope you understand the symbolism of green in its philosophical and spiritual meaning. I take it for granted that you didn't choose the color by accident. So it's about life, prosperity, growth, renewal. So I hope that you have that appreciation, because you are drawing from the abundance that are God-given. You are not pillaging. So these are infinite resources that you are converting into energy. The second difficulty I had, Mr. President, was that, okay, you are wearing green, why don't you wear a tie? I said, the invite is saying that we are likely going to do a plant tour. Those of you who are engineers in the room, you don't wear a tie to go and view the rotating machines, because it's a risk to your life. So the President said you must respect the moment. That's why I'm not wearing a tie. It's exactly because of that. And then I took sunglasses and said, why are you taking sunglasses? I said, the future is bright. And thanks to the work of Seriti Green. And I attempted to be philosophical. And I drew on the counsel of one of the struggle luminaries, Livatambo on the occasion of the burial of Joe Gabi. He has the following to say about the future. He says the future is bright, the end is glorious, the intervening period is dark and bitter, and finds its glory in acts of struggles, close quotes. It's important that because of the work that the Siriti is doing, we're in the midst of struggle. What is a struggle? To ensure that we draw our people out of poverty, we're able to graduate them into a higher order of socio-economic development, we're able to defeat ignorance and illiteracy. And for us to achieve that, amongst others, there has to be economic growth. And that's why we are here, thanks in large part to the leadership of President Ramaphosa and the reform agenda that he has initiated. That is, for me, will be the most lasting legacy of the second term of President Ramaphosa. And as I say that, President, just 4 lessons that comes out of this experience or this project. Well, the first one, not necessarily a lesson. I mean, you can see that we have changed the vista and the landscape of this area. So I say it's the meeting point when engineering capability and engineering science kisses the very green and lush lands of Mpumalanga in all its beauty and splendor. What rises is the 120 towering wind towers. So we have permanently changed the landscape of this area. And our people will have a different relationship and appreciation and interaction with this space. But what are these 4 lessons? I'll just mention them as I invite the President to deliver the keynote address. So the first one is that it's a scientific myth to suggest that in other parts of the country there are no renewable energy resources such as wind and solar. And what is powerful about the Siriti Green project here is that it's driven by private sector, and we know the affinity of private sector to science, and in fact government is also drawn very, very close to science. I say evidence is very key in informing our policy choices. So the days of the relationship of antagonism, that of science and policy making, is history. So we're going to anchor our choices on science. When we went to the control room, we saw the wind speeds. The highest was about 6 meters per second. Mr. President, we have done the wind atlas, and we know that the healthiest wind resources in the country, for obvious reasons, is in the coastal area, about 10 meters per second. And here in Limpopo, we're at 6 meters per second. Facility has invested because they know there will be commercial returns. And therefore, the country in its vastness, it's an ideal area for renewable energy investments. The second one is that we are gravitating towards what I refer to as radius of where we at. I think there's 2 or 3 power stations, the nearest being Tutuka. What is the primary energy source there? It's coal. What is Siriti and Mr. Tege are doing here is that there's wind. We have just been shown a solar PV plant, and I know they are building a battery storage facility. So it's not a binary conversation, it's about additionality and how you are able to balance the mix. And I reckon I still need to do a bit study. I reckon that will be either the only or one of the very few areas in the world, geographies, where you find the coexistence of various energy sources. And that's why Mr. Teke is on point. It's about the pace and scale of that which we can afford, and it must be derived out of our own endowments. The third one, Mr. President, is about industrial capability. By industrial capability, I mean the ability of a country on the back of endowment and beneficiation to build advanced manufacturing and engineering capability, to be able to build a pipeline of skills. The President was shared the skills that are here including skills that are not directly related to the core work of energy generation, but we saw young farmers there. The ability to build industries that are export competitive, the ability to invest in research and development, and develop a new body of knowledge that is going to help us to build this country going forward. And it is investments of this nature that are going to make this to happen. The last one, which I think is the most powerful, is the nexus between the reform agenda that President Ramaphosa has introduced, energy security and investment, all playing themselves out in this project. So the President said 3 trillion rands of investment into the country. They call this bluff. Today is able to show you that here's part of the 3 trillion rands, actual projects, jobs created, and livelihoods changed. And Mr. Tech and Siriti are able to make this investment because we have liberalized. We have allowed that we are moving away from a vertically integrated monopoly, which is a risk to the country because of the complacency of a monopoly. You are introducing competition, and on the back of competition, in theory, over time, we'll see it's going to help us to, amongst others, address the cost of electricity. 15 billion rands, they made the pledge. That pledge has now transitioned in actual projects. The security on the back of this excess generating capacity, we are able to build industries. To speak of these reforms than the person who has initiated the reforms himself, the principal protagonist and an agent behind reforms. They are in their very nature inherently unpopular. But over a period of time, people will look back and say, oh, the genesis of this recovery and the exponential increase in the job numbers, the resilient economy, they will trace it back to the second term of the presidency of President Ramaphosa. In welcoming President Ramaphosa to the stage, the very agent of these reforms, President Ramaphosa.
Thank you. Let's be seated, please. Program Director, the Premier of our province here in Mpumalanga. I see that the Premier is now changed his tune when it comes to talking about Mpumalanga. He no longer says Mpumalanga. He's now toned down a little bit. The Sibande District Municipality, Councillor Tango Mezulu, the Group CEO of Seriti Resources, Mr. Mike Deke, and the CEO of Seriti Green, Mr. Peter Ben, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, Ambassador Wu Peng, abondabezitha bethu, our traditional leaders, ngiyanibingelela nonke enikhona lapha. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi nikwazile ukuthi nifike nibe nathi namhlanje. Siyabonga. Of business as well as and a young being in government felt that he wanted to be part of this ceremony. In one of our political formations in Malachi, he wanted to be here because he took the view that this is about the future. Representatives that are here present, and bonke abantu balapha eBethal, ngithemba ukuthi abanye baphuma eDavel, abanye baphuma eMorganson, and the employees and officers and officials of Seriti Green who are here, many of whom impressed me greatly with their knowledge as I was interacting with them, and those who are also beneficiaries of the various projects that Seriti Green has been initiating in this area. All of you guests and ladies and gentlemen who are here present, good day to you all, Dumelang Sanbonani. It is indeed a privilege for me and us in government to join you today in Mpumalanga, this place of the rising sun. Just as the sun powers life, it is Mpumalanga that produces the electricity that powers our minds, our industries, our businesses, our schools, our hospitals, and our homes. All that originates from here. The power that we have in our country originates from Mpumalanga. It is indeed a phenomenon that is very unique. It is here that generations of coal miners, of power plant workers, of engineers, of artisans, of technicians, and entrepreneurs have helped to build the modern South Africa that we have. As we embark on a new era, in Mpumalanga, we pay tribute to all those who continue to drive our economy and to light up our homes and to produce power that powers our economy forward. Much as you may have doubted, Mr. Mike Decker, whether I would have the opportunity to be here, we stand here to congratulate Seriti Green, a proudly South African company, as the uUmmbila Emoyeni Wind Farm enters into commercial operation. Seriti is a company that we're very proud of, a company with a proven track record in South Africa's coal industry, a young company of less than 10 years old, which remains the foundation of our country's energy production. Now the company has chosen to invest in South Africa's renewable energy future. And you characterize it now not so much as a coal company, but as an energy company. That is a correct characterization of your company, as it is now exploding into the renewable energy landscape. And in doing so, Seriti is aligned with our policy position that South Africa's future energy system will draw on the strength as well as the resources that we already possess, including coal, as in our coal-fired power stations, while embracing new opportunities and new energy sources. So when we look at our energy architecture, we include the various energy sources: coal, wind, hydro, nuclear, solar, gas, and indeed many others that will come in the future as well. Mpumalanga is known as the place of the rising sun, as I said, but it has not been known for its wind. In fact, some doubted the value of building a wind farm here. There is something profoundly inspiring about wind. We cannot see it, and I would say that many people who doubted that wind would be a resource that we could use to generate energy doubted it because they couldn't see it. Yet we do witness its power as we launch this project today. Wind bends mighty trees. I was telling colleagues earlier that I have seen how wind in this area is able to fell trees, to uproot buildings, and to uproot the roofs of buildings as well. It carries rain across continents, and now, through human ingenuity, we are now using it here to light up our homes and power our economy. And this wind farm is therefore more than an energy project. It is a symbol of hope, of innovation, and our determination to continue to build a cleaner South Africa with clean energy, a more secure and more prosperous type of energy source. But this project, with more than 25 wind turbines dotting across the landscape between Bethal, Double, and Morganson, really demonstrates that this is a province with many energy sources and many opportunities. We commend Seriti for showing confidence in this province and its potential. Today represents more than the completion of an infrastructure project. This project underscores the value of partnership between government, ESCOM, the private sector, finance institutions, and companies. And I want to commend the company that has built these turbines that have enabled this project to be where it is. I hear it is the largest turbine company in the world, and we're very pleased that it is a company that is riding on the relationship that South Africa has with the People's Republic of China. It shows that South Africa's just energy transition is being realized through very practical actions that we are embarking upon. And now as a country, we have committed to transition our society and economy along a low-carbon, climate-resilient pathway that is in line with our domestic and international obligations. We have been clear that this transition should be just, should be inclusive, and should leave no one behind. And in this project, we see the justness of it all, where through the execution of this project, members of the community are seeing how they can benefit from the launching of an energy project where it did not exist before, and where the utilization of a natural endowment, which is wind, we've been able to generate energy, but the energy that is part of our just transition that benefits even members of the community. And I met young people and middle-aged people who are now running very successful businesses from agriculture, agro-processing, right through to infrastructure building, and how they have become part of this just energy transition that we've embarked on. The true measure of the success of this just energy transition is the extent to which it creates opportunities for the people of our country. And I have seen how this is being actualized here. The achievements of this project are therefore very real and very encouraging. I understand that to date more than 1,000 jobs have been created through this project, with about half of these jobs going to people living within a 10-kilometer radius of this wind farm. I'm told that more than 18,500 people have registered on the Siriti Green Skills Hub, where they will be able to access current and future opportunities. The fact that more than 50% of those who have registered are women is a promising sign of the potential that this project has been able to drive women's empowerment, economic empowerment. Many of the people who have worked on this project, I'm told, have brought valuable skills that were developed in the mining industry, that were developed in the energy sector, and energy sector meaning skills that were developed in ESCOM, our ESCOM, that has enabled those people who work for ESCOM or were part of ESCOM have now been able to display and execute their skills, knowledge in a project like this. This project demonstrates the value of a strong focus on creating meaningful local economic participation and ensuring that surrounding communities benefit directly from this investment. Now, this investment has been part of the investment conferences that we have held. As we have held our South Africa Investment Conference iterations, Siriti Green was able to come forward and pledge that they will invest billions and billions of rands. And many people in our country just tended to dismiss that and said, well, these are just empty promises by these companies, and therefore the President's Investment Conference is meaningless because it never will lead to any tangible investments that will happen. Now, today we are here. Siriti promised that they would be investing 15 billion, and they have invested that amount of money. And proof of it all is that they received that certificate that said you made this commitment, and today we are launching what they committed to invest, and they need to be applauded for having lived up to that promise. Now, this is real, and they are also saying now that they will end up investing up to 40 billion, and that their next commitment before they reach that 40 billion will be another 10 billion. Now, they are ahead of their times. I want them to make that commitment at the conference next year. So come and make that commitment, and then tell everyone who comes to that conference that you have already delivered. Now, I have no doubt that you are a delivering company. The just energy transition should create opportunities that remain long after you have made the investment that you have made, and long after the infrastructure that you have put on the ground has been completed. It should strengthen local businesses. It should empower communities. It should equip young people with new skills. The just energy transition must leave communities stronger than they were before. Now, here already there's clear demonstration. These three areas, Bethal, Double, and Morganson, were areas that were being left behind by economic development. And now that this project has been launched, there's new life, new investments that are emerging and coming through. So this investment is a magnet. It is pulling many other investments to come to these towns that were already becoming towns that were being left behind. The confidence that this company has brought in our country was demonstrated, yes, through the commitments that you made at our conferences. Now this has already been followed, as we have said, by the other 10 billion rand that you have invested in renewable energy infrastructure. Now we applaud you for that. It shows that you are indeed moving ahead to deliver precisely what you promised. Now, these investments are coming into being as South Africa emerges from many years of debilitating power shortages. The load shedding that persisted for well over a decade impeded the growth of our economy and the development of our country. We must therefore commend the work that has been undertaken to restore Eskom's operational performance and to drive investment in new generation capacity. Minister of Electricity and Energy, Dr. Ramokgopa, who is today dressed in the green trousers and who is not wearing a tie like me, who is wearing sunglasses, has done considerably great work in ensuring that our energy security is put on a very strong foundation. And we thank him for that, because that is precisely what he was mandated to do. With load shedding now behind us, we're encouraged that measures to end load reduction that he is now currently working on are bearing fruit in a number of provinces, including here in Mpumalanga. Energy security underpins an economic growth, investment, industrial development, and job creation. That is why we have embarked on the process of fundamental reform of the electricity sector to achieve a reliable, affordable, and sustainable supply of electricity for all South Africans. Now, at the heart of the reform process is the establishment of a competitive electricity market in which multiple generators, both public and private, will compete to provide electricity most efficiently and at the lowest cost. It is going to be similar to, for instance, having your mobile telephone company networks. Before we had all these other mobile telephone companies, Telkom was the only one that provided telecommunication in our country. And because it was operating alone, it was not able to meet all the communication needs of the entire country. When we opened up the market, we enabled more mobile companies to come in. And today they are growing by leaps and bounds, and that gives all citizens of the country choice. And that choice is continuing to bring prices down, where you no longer have just one operating, which was always a great risk and a danger. And today, the reform process that we've embarked upon will ultimately ensure that electricity is delivered at affordable prices to power growth, to create jobs, and to ensure that we have more and more investments. As it is now, well over 120 billion rand has been invested in renewable energy projects throughout the country. And this project adds to those projects that have brought investments in our country to create jobs and to enable electricity to be more accessible to all. We're in the process of restructuring ESCOM and establishing a fully independent state-owned entity responsible for transmission and the operation of the electricity market. In the State of the Nation address, as you may recall, in February, I announced the establishment of a dedicated task team under the National Energy Crisis Committee to undertake the detailed work required to ensure the success of this restructuring. I'm pleased to say that, and to announce that the task team that I had set up has now completed the first phase of its work, which is a high-level proposal for establishing the Transmission System Operator, or the TSO. The team will now embark on the second phase, which will include a detailed implementation plan for the restructuring. Together, we are building the next chapter of South Africa's energy future. Electricity that is affordable, electricity that is reliable, and electricity that is increasingly clean is the lifeblood of a growing economy. Mines, factories, and farms need that type of electricity to expand production. Businesses need affordable as well as reliable energy to become more competitive, to become more efficient. For households, affordable electricity is a matter of dignity. It is an opportunity to improve the quality of life and reduce the cost of living. Cheaper and dependable power is therefore not an end in itself. It is the foundation on which accelerated and inclusive growth must be built. We thank the Seriti Green team for being part of this new energy future. And we thank them for their dedication and professionalism. Everyone that I met in this team has been demonstrating how professional they are. They have deep knowledge in their craft, and I have no doubt that they will continue to manage this facility extremely well. And we thank every local contractor, and I met a number of them who became part of this project. And I want to thank every worker and small business that has contributed to this project. In the end, Seriti could not do it alone. It needed the cooperation of all, including those who in the initial stages were opposed to the start of this business, of this project, and today they are the ardent supporters of it. For generations, Mpumalanga has powered South Africa, and now it is paving the way to a new future. And may this project stand as a lasting symbol of South African ingenuity, partnership, commitment, and confidence. And may it remind us that when we invest in our people, when we strengthen our institutions and believe in our country's future, there is no limit to what South Africans can achieve. this in the end is a really good project. And I'd like to see it grow by leaps and bounds, to continue to add capability and to empower our people here in this area and provide employment and economic growth. So let us all embrace it. Let us be grateful that this company, Seriti, has brought real economic progress in this area. Thank you very much.
Before you step off, there is a saying here in Seriti Green: we are not here to build paper jets. And in demonstration of that, our CEO has a gift to give you.
This is a real jet. Not a paper one.
Thank you, Mr. President. Exactly. Exactly. As we draw the formal proceedings to a close, I invite the man who carried this project from drawing board to grid, Mr. Peter Van, Chief Executive Officer of Seriti Green, to deliver the remarks of appreciation and announcements. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, President. President Ramaphosa, Minister of Electricity and Energy, Premier of uUmmbila, executive mayors, traditional leaders, distinguished guests, community members, colleagues, partners, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to our new home. It has been both a privilege and a humbling experience to stand before you here today as we celebrate the opening of uUmmbila Emoyeni. Today is not simply the commissioning of South Africa's largest wind farm. It is also the culmination of years of vision, hard work, partnership, perseverance and belief. Above all else, it's a day of gratitude. Mr. President, I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to you as the head of state for all three spheres of government. The success of uUmmbila Emoyeni has been built on partnership. From the very beginning of this journey, we have been engaged across all three spheres of government. Minister Ramaphosa, Premier Ndlovu, we've had numerous conversations. We've had numerous disagreements. But here we stand together in celebrating these 25 turbines. To be honest, there are 48 turbines standing. Only 25 are turned on. But here we stand in Mpumalanga with the turbines turning. We are honored today to be joined by yourselves, the executive mayors of Lekwa, Musquealiqua and Governor Mbeki municipalities and the executive mayor of Katzabanda. To all the government leaders and officials, your commitment and guidance and support have helped us overcome challenges and unlock opportunities. uUmmbila is proof of what can be done when we work together. Eskom and the National Transmission Company of South Africa, Dan, Monde, all of you, I see you waving. Thank you. This is a partnership. We have built large infrastructure. The MTS was built in 17 months. That is a 1.2 billion rand investment, Mr. President, that we have handed over to Eskom that has formed part of Eskom's balance sheet. The independent transmission program is a reality. It exists here today in Bethel. To our partners, I would also like to offer my sincere thanks. It takes a village to raise a renewable energy facility. To Goldwind, our partners, I look forward to coming to Beijing later this year to work. But it has been a long journey, Mason. You didn't have children when we met first 14 years ago, and now you have two.
I thank you, Mason, and I thank all of you. I thank you for traveling from Beijing. Ambassador, I thank you for your kind words. To Stefaniti Stocks, Russell, Eric, over there, Joe, thank you. Constructing a project like this in the middle of Mpumalanga is not easy. Creating the complex supply chains, upgrading the port of Richards Bay. These are not things we do every day, but I thank you for your commitment and being a true partner to Seriti Green. Tractionel, Naresh, 17 months. I have the other renewable energy people in the room, they cannot believe that you delivered an MTS in 17 months. Mr. President, that is a 100% black-owned company, Tractionel Enterprises, building MTSs, ITB, Mr. Minister. To our banking partners, ABSA and RMB, thank you. Thank you for promoting us. It's been fantastic. And in particular, I would like to thank Renche van Tonda from Standard Bank. Standard Bank brought Seriti, the coal mining business, and WindLab together to create this inbound acquisition of an Australian firm being bought by a black South African company, bringing wind AI excellence into Mpumalanga and delivering this project. Renche, when I took that phone call from you at the bicycle park in Takai on a Sunday in February 2022, how did I know I'd end up sitting on the stage or standing here alongside Leighton, here in Mpumalanga? So Renche, thank you so much to what you've done and to what your Standard Bank team, I know Nick is in the room, Nims, I see you, thank you so much. To our customers, Seriti Power, your coal mines, Wayne Energy Exchange, NOAA, and lately, as you've seen now, Etana, I thank you for being our customers, for partnering on us. These are some of the largest contracts that I've done in South Africa. These are 15, 20, 25-year commitments to buy these electrons and to take South Africa forward. So, Mr. Minister, thank you for the reform that you've created to allow the traders into the marketplace. They play an important role, Mr. President, in bridging the gap between long-term contracts and short-term contracts and allowing smaller players to buy electricity in this marketplace. Thank you. To our host communities, I mean it when I say Darfur, Bethel and Mochenzon is my home. I thank all of you, whether it's Freddie, Lindani, Linda Kuchle, thank you for taking us on board. Thank you for believing in us. Amos, working together with you has been a pleasure. It is difficult at times. The distances are far and the roads are poor. But we are working on that together. If we can drive economic development, if we can drive jobs in Mpumalanga, we can all prosper, one and all. During the moment, the thing I'm most proud of, Mike, this project has accumulated over 3 million hours of construction work, 3 million hours. There was not one lost time injury. Safety above all else. There were millions of decisions that were taken by various people, whether it's the safety officer on the ground, the person doing the wire fixing on the foundations, leadership, safety came first. And I thank you, Mike, for your leadership with regards to safety. But there are two other gentlemen. Alan and John, can you stand up? They're obviously looking after our safety. Alan and John have led the safety journey for Seriti Green, and I want a big call out for Alan and John for doing that. Thank you. I need to acknowledge the remarkable people of Seriti and Seriti Green. To our employees, all of you in green, thank you, who have believed in a vision that at times has seemed extraordinarily ambitious. Today belongs to you. uUmmbila Emoyeni is not the achievement of a single company, a single team, or a single leader. It is the result of thousands of hours of hard work by people who were determined to prove that South Africa can build infrastructure of global significance. Your dedication, resilience and commitment have made today possible. To my leadership team at Seriti Green, I appreciate you sticking at my side through all of this. Building a business, building projects, building teams is never the work of one person. Shahida, 15 years you've been at my side, I thank you. Ben, for more than a decade you've been a trusted colleague, developing and believing in the future. Christian, Janice, Chabisi, Debbie, Bram, Satisha, Rudolph, thank you for your leadership, professionalism and countless contributions you've made to building this project. Leighton, our young but wise CFO and MC, it is remarkable to think that only 4 years ago we met in Ilova. Looking at what has been achieved in such a short period of time is a testament to your leadership, execution and determination. To our board, Brittany, Nims, you're in the room, Yusuf and David are not in the country. Diligence, your diligence, guidance and thoughtful support is always appreciated. Mike and Doug, as the leaders of the broader Seriti Group, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for your support, your guidance, and most importantly, your belief in the vision that has become Seriti Group. Operating and investing in Mpumalanga requires commitment, resilience, and a thick skin. Simplicity, intensity, and consistency are the Seriti values that we have learned from you. Your wisdom, experience, and unwavering support have given us the confidence to pursue opportunities that others have considered impossible. The truth is that uUmmbila Emoyeni would not have happened without the support of the broader group. This achievement belongs as much to you as it does to those standing here today. And the exco is hiding away over there, I see something. A word of thanks to the team that put this all together. She came up here for a thanks, Janice. Charities and Claire Lati, Janice, and many others have worked tirelessly to put this together. Thank you. In closing, Mr. President, it is Seriti Green's belief that the just energy transition is first and foremost about the people. The people of South Africa, the people of Mpumalanga. It is about ensuring, as our country transitions from a high-emission energy economy to a low-emission future, the people who have powered South Africa for generations are not left behind. What we have collectively achieved over the past 4 years demonstrates something very important to the world. It demonstrates that the just energy transition is more than a transition. It's both an economic and social opportunity. It is not a paper exercise. It is a real jet. Standing here today, uUmmbila Emoyeni is proof that the people of Mpumalanga are not being left behind. It is proof that investment can be attracted, infrastructure can be built, jobs can be created, and communities, most importantly, can prosper. Mr. President, we look forward to welcoming you back in the future to open the next chapter of this journey. Across the road from where we stand today, we are planning a further 600 megawatts of wind, taking our total investment to 40 billion rand. Together with uUmmbila Emoyeni, Phefumula Emoyeni, will create one of the largest renewable energy precincts in all of South Africa, all 187 turbines. And when we gather again, we will not simply be celebrating another wind farm. We will be demonstrating that wind farms, solar farms, and batteries can form part of a sustainable future for South Africa. Innovation, investment, partnerships, and sustainable jobs will move our country forward. We South Africans are capable of extraordinary things when we work together, united by a common purpose and a shared belief in South Africa's future. uUmmbila Emoyeni was built because we South Africans chose to work together. Siyabonga.
That was a great speech, by the way. I'm not saying this because you're my boss.